Welcome everybody, it is Spinner Rack! And today I'm in studio and my boy PD's online. Cal couldn't make it today, so I'm sorry, but we're gonna hear him next. Listen guys, we're gonna be talking about Action Comic 1000. I know this is not normal for me because Cal is the Superman fiend. We all know that. But we thought it was important enough at least to try to get this out before we get Cal's considered opinion a little later. So let me introduce my boy on the phone from the heavens, it's Petey! Petey, say hi to the people.
Hey everybody, have I reached the Spinner Rack show? Hi, I'd like to ask a question.
What's the question?
Why is we haven't seen your show? It's been so infrequent.
Okay, well, since you're the producer, since you're the executive the editor, tell me.
We haven't shot anything.
We haven't, but we're shooting a whole bunch of stuff, so don't worry about it, guys. It's going to be coming out to you ASAP, okay? So, before we even start, we were actually at the day at midnight at 12:30 at New York City in front of Midtown Comics to gather, be one of the first people out there to get Action Comic 1000, the annual. And I got to tell you, it was a wild scene. There were tons of people out there. There were tons of people to get in the store, to get the comic, and there were tons of people waiting outside to get whose signature? Tomasi's signature. Here's the comic right here. He was there signing it. 3 comics. Didn't matter which cover you signed. He was signing it. Peter Tomasi, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And can you talk about the fans? How did they feel?
The fans they were happy to be there. I gotta say, Cal being a Superman fan has always shocked me that there's any still around. I thought it was just 1 or 2 people around, but there are tons of them who came out in the midnight, waited for 2 hours to try to get their comics signed, to buy comics and to get them signed, and also just in the cold. It was freezing that night. So I gotta say, enough respect to all the fans, enough respect to, I think, Quinn. He was one of the guys who was in our video, which is going to come up shortly, and the others who also helped out. Sorry if I didn't remember your name right offhand, but, special mention because you guys took the time to talk to us.
Now do you believe?
Do I believe in what? That Superman is real?
No, that they have so many fans.
You know what?
How many fans came out?
Do you know there is a serious pent-up demand for Superman? Cal's been saying it for quite a long time. They just need to get it right, and as long as they get it right, there's just so many people who are just waiting, willing to give their money to DC. Please, here's the money for Superman, that they're just dying for it. So I don't know. And this also segues to Krypton, which I've been watching, and it's loosely based on
all right,
Superman.
Wait, no, we're not. I've stopped watching Krypton.
Krypton is an excellent show, So look, we'll talk about
let's stay on Action. We just want to give a precursor to Action Comics #1 and the 80th anniversary annual. So just a brief overview, because we'll talk about it later, possibly next week. But they have a couple of gorgeous books. They're like this big 80 Years of Superman's Deluxe Edition that has a ton of reprints and new material. It's just packed with everything. I especially like seeing the Joe Shuster stuff because I always like the original comic and stuff like that. But there's a ton of stuff in here. There's Gil Kane, Marv Wolfman, some Kurt Swan, of course, and as you go on, there's text stories, so a story from Marv Wolfman, and then going into some more current artists also. But then if you move over, because you read both of these books, right?
Both of which books? There are 4 stories in Action Comics.
Okay, so you read just the Action 1000, which is fine.
Yeah.
So in that one, it's more than 4 stories, but there's some shorter ones, but there are 4 main stories in that one. And it's, with the multiple covers. They have more of an anniversary to Superman in the first story, and then the next story is more like an Image comic. It's like all the periods of Superman. And then they have a lot of the hot talent doing like Scott Snyder and Jeff Johns. And they have just little short stories in there. They also have Paul Dini did a small one. But then the big draw, which is going to lead into DC Nation Zero, is the Bendis story. So what did you think of that? And this is your first inaugural review that you're ever reviewing a comic with us.
I know.
What did you think of Bendis' return?
So I mean,
Superman.
Let's not even start with Bendis. Let's talk about the very first story. I thought that at least three of the stories were pretty decent. The Bendis story was interesting. You know, again, I'm not sure where they're going with this. I saw Bendis. Can we say spoilers?
No, we're gonna do. Well, this is whatever you want to do.
No, well, you know, I'm not gonna go spoilers. But what I'm just saying is that the Bendis storyline, which is the last story, and that leads into, you said DC Nation Zero, or is it the new Man of Steel or something like that?
It's going to lead into Man of Steel, but there's a story before that in DC Nation.
Okay, so in that story, you know, I'm not 100% sure where they're going, and you know, I see echoes of other previous stories that they've done before. But I think I love the art. The story seems to be gathering steam, and it's too early to tell. But you know, I just hope that it's just not a retread of what they've done before, and they just, you know, mess it up. If it's going to be something different, let it be different. You know, I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. You know, I'm giving, unlike a lot of people, I'm giving Bendis the rope to try. Okay, I'm not cutting you down at all. Take your time, develop the story. I mean, I don't think he had more than like 8 pages at max. I don't even think that much.
Yeah.
You know, so it's hard to really gauge a story. But what I like to some of the prior stories, I think the very first story, I'm not sure who wrote that. I think it was a Jim Lee. I'm not sure. And this is
you're talking about Dan Jurgens?
Dan Jurgens, yeah. So that's the story when Superman is he's getting awarded like the key to the city or whatever, and you know, surprisingly everything is being handled. He's not being called for an emergency or anything like that. And what you basically find out is, you know, he really has friends. And I thought that was like really, really a cool story, the way it was written and handled. And it really takes you to the ethos of who Superman is and why people appreciate him, from the local citizens to even the superheroes. What about you? What was your take on that story?
It was okay. You know, just more of a, you know, just an anniversary sort of bit that's there, you know, and this is more been a snapshot sort of anniversary, which is fine. But you know, I don't know. It's hard to say because it's not following what was going on before. It's just sort of like it has John, you know, the son and Lois and whatnot. But it's just mainly an anniversary sort of issue. So you get like even Tom King. I forgot Tom King and Brad Meltzer. So there's a lot of these little short moments and glimpses at Superman. So it's just like, it's just a nice, light sort of thing that you can look at. So that's what I felt about the anniversary sort of issue. So it's not much to review. It's just sort of like, we're celebrating him.
Yeah, but that's good. I mean, 1,000 comics what other modern comic book, basically nationwide comic book has hit 1,000? Superman is the first to do it, right? I know there's some more obscure comics, and listen, don't send me hate mails for saying obscure. Don't yell at me or whatever. Yes, there may be issues of other things out there that have hit 1,000, but in the superhero genre, in the United States of America, Superman is it, and you've got to give him his due. You know, I mean, they've been able to carry that along.
This is a surprise.
What do you mean? That I would give
this glowing support.
Well, you know what? It's his birthday, so you have to be nice. You know what I'm trying to say? The day after, you can cuss him out. If you could see me, all I'm wearing is Batman hat, Batman T-shirt. So you know, it's a very qualified, positive message there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, generally, I thought that was good. There was a couple other stories. There was another story that basically had Superman go through different versions of Superman. And it's pretty interesting when you see the way he's dressed, the shields, the emblems, you know. I thought that was really cool the way they did that.
Yeah. But I mean, this is not to take away, but it is to jump on and say, hey, let's check this out and see if you want to see what Bendis does. Now, my worry is that Bendis is sort of a guy that he creates his continuity. So it's like, all right, we got to build to this, just like with the X-Men. He starts to add stuff to the character. So, there's nothing I can really complain about with the first story because it's just a basic big knockdown smash like sort of fight. But you know, let's see where it goes.
All right, so I mean, I guess we'll go more in detail later when we have Cal on because you know, I can imagine he's gritting his teeth, just wondering what the heck we're saying about his favorite character. And again, I know you are a little bit more sophisticated than me than on some of these things, but I thought some of the stories, especially the recaps on Superman about his character, the support with other superheroes, his past uniforms, and showing different eras of the art. I thought that was really good touch, just because it's 1,000. And on top of that, they're having the whole Bendis story at the very end, where it's something new that continues. I thought it was well done. I personally thought it was well done. And I think I give kudos to DC. I don't think anybody, there's a little bit of something for everybody there. For the original Superman fans, is there. You have people who love seeing the classic uniforms, the classic outfits. It's there. Going back to some classic roles is there. The last story of Bendis is something new, if you ask me. Can I say that? It's something new, or is that a spoiler?
No, that's fine. I would say my only issue is the Superman Luthor story, because Luthor looks like Professor Xavier. So that's the only thing I can look at and say, why is his eyebrows sort of like Xavier, sort of pointed up? So it's like he doesn't, like Luthor has a specific face, which we can go to either, the Kurt Swan one or the Byrne one, but he has a face that you can grab to do. Like giving him the Charles Xavier face really bothers me. So otherwise, it's an anniversary sort of thing. It's not dealing with the continuity that came from the past. It's really getting you to this point and saying, boom, what's going to happen with Man of Steel? So.
Yeah, I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to keep Action in one? I mean, who's going to continue with Action? And he's getting moved over to Man of Steel, but isn't Action just the flagship?
No, there's a break. Just like Burns, there's 6 issues, like a weekly, or is it weekly? I'm not sure. It might be, but I think it's like a shortened time span. So it might be every 2 weeks. But it's like these 6 Man of Steels, and after Man of Steel, then it's going to be Superman #1 and Action 1001.
Okay, so it basically is like a mini series going on. Well, that's good. I mean, it's a good intro to Bendis coming into the DC fold, And I mean, look, it's a huge coup for DC having him on. So you got to give him credit, basically,
Yeah.
Jim Lee. So they're moving on all cylinders. I mean, right now, the momentum that I'm hearing, like the Men on the Street when I was at the midnight opening, and I've been at a couple of midnight openings, and almost all of them are DC. I don't know what is going on. I mean, from Doomsday Clock to this one to I forgot the name of the other one, but the DC people are coming out, and that's all they talk about. Like DC is resurgent versus Marvel. I don't know what's causing that. I don't know what's happening, but I think Marvel has some interesting properties. I'm hoping that they also make a big deal about like Spider-Man 800, which is about to drop soon. Okay, I don't know why they have.
If we cut into Marvel, they have some things that they got going on, which is the new Avengers thing. There's a couple of things that they have happening, rebranding stuff with the X-Men. So, there's a sort of an annual that Marvel had where they have a previews book where they sort of show you what's happened.
Yeah.
So that looks like they're trying to make it look like stuff that you could buy, especially going with the Avengers and having all the characters from the movie and having Edward McGuinness doing the art. So it's like, here, just buy me. So that's one comic that they have. But this is, this is a celebration of Superman, and it seems like there's a lot of interest. It's been a bigger push than the 75th anniversary. So this is really good. 2 big books, 2 solid books that fans are going out to buy. And the blank ones to do the sketch covers. So
the variant covers are ridiculous. They're like 32 variant covers. I mean, while I was there, I saw some dude pull out like probably 10 of them, and he told me he was going back the next day to get some more. I'm like, whoa. Of course, he didn't want to go on camera, but I thought that was pretty interesting there. I mean, 10 covers, like wow. I mean, and these covers ain't cheap. They're coming what, $7, $8? How much did I pay for this one? Yeah, it's like $8 a cover.
Yeah.
So
in this story, let's just go over all the other talent that's in here. So we have, Paul Levitz and Neil Adams. We have a Kurt Swan with Mark Wolfman's story. We already talked about Peter Tomasi and Peter
Bendis.
Tomasi
and Bendis
and what's it, Dan Jurgens.
Dan Jurgens, yeah.
But then we also have Paul Dini and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez did a short story, along with Brad Meltzer and John Cassidy. So you have this is packed with a lot of stuff in here besides the extra covers. So, it's something to check out. It's not big on story. It's definitely decent on the art. So
definitely, but I mean, I gotta say, a lot of these artists are all DC who have done DC. A lot of them have done DC Superman previously. So I think that it's a great celebration of the hero that he is.
Well, then also to say, lastly, there's Louise Simonson and Jerry Ordway do the classic '90s Superman. So there's the story of that even there. So it's definitely something that people should go out and check out. And
so it's worth. So what we're saying, this is a buy, people. Get out there and buy it. All right. It doesn't matter what cover. If you just want to read, it doesn't matter what cover. But if you want to know more which cover to get, I think we have a previous video with Cal where he tells you what cover if you're interested in purchasing that. So check out that video too. All right. Spinner Rack out.